All right, when we look at these other volumes, it's really going to just be kind of a plug and chug if you understand where these formulas come from, even if you're rotating around other lines that are other horizontal lines other than the x-axis and other vertical lines, including the y-axis and other vertical lines. All right, so let's do things that are horizontal. Okay, horizontal rotation. So you were working on that yesterday, but what I gave you was incomplete because you were limited to only rotating over what thing? Okay, so let's expand that to be more complete. If you're doing a horizontal rotation around something else other than the x-axis. So your volume will be the integral, still from a to b, pi times. Okay, the difference is going to be that r, that radius, okay, I'm talking about the thing that's the farthest away from your axis of rotation, minus what we call alpha. Alpha represents the value of the axis you're rotating it over. So yesterday, everything you did had an implied alpha value of 0 because you were always using the x-axis. So there was always a 0 there. That is squared, minus pi times the other curve, so I'll use a small letter r to show that that's the rotating one. This is the lower curve, or the curve that's closer to the axis of rotation, also minus the alpha value, and that's squared. So the only difference is we're adding minus alpha. Alpha represents the horizontal rotation. So when you write horizontal rotation, let's do around alpha. And alpha represents any horizontal position, any horizontal line. Okay, all of that, of course, is dx because we're going around something that is a horizontal line. How do I do what? It's like an incomplete infinity sign, or yeah.
I used it for AP stats and I didn't know the one reason.
Okay, vertical rotation. So when we do a vertical rotation, again, we're going to go around any vertical line. This includes the y-axis. It also includes any other vertical line. So we're going to call that beta. So I'll use the Greek letter B for beta. It's very similar in its setup. Pi times the, again, if you're going around doing something in terms of y, it'll be the thing that's on the right. So that's your r minus beta squared, minus pi times your little r minus the same beta squared. That whole thing has parentheses around it, and what will be the differential on the end? dy, because I'm going around the y-axis, and the bounds will be from c to d, because they are going along the y-axis as well. So everything is in terms of y. And so when you're doing horizontal rotations, you're only using x variables. When you're going around a vertical, you're only using y variables. The setup is going to be the most important part. And then the rest is just going to be plug and chug with the antiderivative, do some algebra, simplify, and do the arithmetic. So I'm just going to set up several with you and practice how that would go. So let's take the following region. Okay, I want to look at the region that looks like this. Here's the x-axis, here's the y-axis. The region looks like this. The intersection of the region is happening at pi halves, comma, 2. So this is 2. This is pi halves, and we're looking at this region right here. The equations we're dealing with are y equals 2 as the upper line, and y equals 2 sine x as the curve. What would be another way to express y equals 2 sine x if x was by itself? So like if it was x equals, then what would it be? Okay, it would be sine inverse y over 2. Those two things are equal. One of them is expressed in y equals form. The other is expressed in x equals form. Now there's a third boundary. So far, this is what we've bounded. We've talked about, let me make it a little darker. We've talked about this bound. I've described the upper, described that one. That's y equals 2. I've described this curve as a sine of x or an inverse sine of y over 2. What is the third boundary? Okay, this y-axis, right? And the equation for that is x equals 0. So we do have a third line to worry about. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to practice rotating that around different axes. It'll create different shapes, but different axes. So, part A. Let's do it around the horizontal line y equals 4. Okay, around the horizontal line y equals 4. Now that line is above, in space, above my region. Okay, that axis of rotation is higher than my region. Can you picture where it is? It's up here. As this axis of rotation up here, the number 4. If I were to rotate and reflect my region up, around, over, is this going to be a solid region? It's going to be a solid volume. No, there's going to be a big hole in the middle. That's fine. Let's set up our equation. Because I'm going around a horizontal line, everything should be in x. So my bounds will be 0 to what? Pi over 2 in x. Okay, and then pi times. Okay, which one comes first? Okay, which one is farthest away in distance from the axis I'm rotating it around? Okay, so that would be 2 sine of x. Now I have to subtract from that the axis of rotation, which is what? 4. Quantity squared. Minus pi times the other boundary of the curve, which is the number 2, equation 2, also minus the axis of rotation, which is minus 4. And that is squared. And dx. Once you're done with that, the rest is just purely doing arithmetic, foiling, pulling out the pi, subtracting, and actually doing the antiderivative. So I'll clean it up partially for you. Okay, I'll pull the pi out to the front, 0 pi over 2. Okay, this will work out to be 4 sine squared of x minus 16 sine of x plus 16 minus 4 dx. So I pulled the pi out, I squared everything, and I simplified. You could simplify the 16 and the minus 4 as well, and then you'll do the antiderivative. How are you going to do the antiderivative of sine squared? 1/2 minus 1/2 cos 2x. All right, so you'd do that and you'd go on from there. I'm not going to finish that, but that's the beginning of the setup. All right, let's do part B. Let's suppose we were going around the line y equals -2. Also, going what direction? Also horizontal. This is a horizontal axis, so I'm rotating around a horizontal axis, which means everything should be in terms of x again. So my integral from this will be 0 to pi over 2 one more time. Pi times. Okay, the rotation of around the line y equals -2. Y equals -2 is going to be a imaginary line below my region. So which equation comes first? The 2 this time. Minus the axis of rotation, which was also -2, so that's 2 plus 2. Minus pi times 2 sine x minus the axis of rotation, which will be minus -2 or 2 plus 2 squared. That whole thing dx, and then you clean it up. I'm really mostly concerned that you understand the setup of each of these. I trust that you can do foiling and adding and subtracting and stuff, but I'm concerned, I want to make sure you understand the setup. Does anybody have questions about that? Okay. Let's go around the y-axis. When I'm going around the y-axis, that's a vertical axis of rotation, so I have different bounds this time. My bounds will be 0 to 2, pi times. Okay, if I'm going around the y-axis, let's go back and take a look at the region. You want to go around from the thing that is farthest away from the axis of rotation. So of all of our boundaries, which one is farthest away? Okay, but can't call it the sine. I have to use its inverse sign. I have to describe it because everything has to be in terms of y. I have to describe it in its inverse sign name. So I will be doing the inverse sine of y over 2 minus the axis of rotation, which since it is the y-axis, what's the value? Technically 0, quantity squared. Minus pi times the second boundary, which is not 2. Okay, the only boundaries I'm looking at when I'm rotating around a vertical axis, think about if I was rotating this, which two parts do I intersect? Right? I'm hitting that graph and I'm hitting that graph. Those are the two functions. When you're rotating around a horizontal, you're coming down this way, well then you're hitting that one and this one. Okay, and not using the third one. You always use 2 out of the 3, so this time we will be using the equation x equals 0. So it's going to be not terribly exciting, 0 minus 0, because 0 is the boundary and it's the axis of rotation. Quantity squared.
How do you express the square of inverse sine?
The square of inverse sine, you're going to have to use your calculator for that.
Yeah, but like when you write it down, like how do you express it?
Parentheses,
Oh,
inverse sine, then the square would be on the outside. Okay, and that's squared, and that whole thing, what comes at the end of that? dy. And that you definitely need your calculator for. You'd use a Math 9 to evaluate that, because we don't have an antiderivative for we have a derivative for the inverse of sine, but we don't have an antiderivative. Okay, let's try one final one of this. Let's go around the line x equals 5. Okay, around the line x equals 5. All right, again, this is a vertical, so I'm going to be 0 to 2, pi times. All right, you've got to know where x equals 5 is. So let's look at our region. X equals 5 is going to be out here. So what of my curved edges or my bounded edges, which one is farthest away from the axis of rotation? The one that's going along the y-axis, right? So that as the one that comes first. If you do that wrong, the only casualty is your answer will be negative. So quick change it. Okay, you should never have negative volume. So if you end up getting a negative answer, you're like, oh, I probably did that in the wrong order. So this would be 0 minus the axis of rotation. Minus pi times, so then the other one is closer, so that would be sine inverse of y over 2. Again, minus the axis of rotation, so minus 5. That whole thing squared. That whole thing dy. And again, an opportunity here to use Math 9. So it's going to come from an understanding of what the region looks like and where the axis is. So you need to know, is the axis above my region or below? Is it to the left of my region or is it to the right? Because that will determine the order in which you set up your things and you square them. After that, you'll pull pi out, you'll square and FOIL, you'll simplify, and then you'll do the antiderivative or use a Math 9. All of these rotations produce different three-dimensional looking shapes. Okay, so that would be the final thing. You don't have to do this, you can just maybe watch me do it. If I was taking this region that we started with, and if I was rotating it around this axis like we started, okay, I end up with a figure that's going to look like this. So I try and draw the reflection as best I can. And then the figure will be rounded here. So it's going to be like, it's going to have something, a hole through the middle. If I take my same figure, and this time I rotate it around a line that's right on it, an axis that's right on it, and I rotate that, oops, well then my figure will look more like a Hershey Kiss to me, and it's totally, completely solid. There is nothing missing out of the center. Okay, if I took the same region and rotated it around a line below it, say down here, okay, the reflection of that is going to look like this. Okay. And then I try and make that rounded, so I'm going to have like that. Okay, where the outer edge, whoops. So the regions are all the same, but the 3D things you're producing are different based on your axis of rotation. Okay? I will see you tomorrow on a Wednesday. Okay, unusual, but I will see you tomorrow. Have a good